Alrighty guys, it is another day of practice. My chest is all better. I'm all back in action. So it's another day of practice. Greg's just got here, half an hour late. He's over talking to Theo. He gave you a wave. He'll be back over soon to give you his little hello. And so today we're doing something different. I'm going into coach mode, trying to get Greg back into gear, trying to get him head back in the game, because he's starting to drop out a little bit lately, and I think it's got a bit to do with his thumb and a few other things. So what we're doing today is Jimi's Grange crazy practice. So what we're doing is shooting a Grange, which is 90 arrows at 60 meters, but the first 30 arrows you got to shoot with your 70 meter setting. The second lot of arrows you got to shoot with your 50 meter setting, and the third lot of arrows you shoot with the 60 meter setting. So the third end should be your best, but we'll see how we go. And it's just so we do this is my little theory about this training, is to stop worrying about hitting the dead set center, because if you aim it off, there's no real aiming point, so you just got to aim around a region and shoot there. So hopefully that'll stop us from getting that spider panic, trying to hit that spider all the time and having the pin over the spider when we shoot. So that's the theory for today, doing a bit of Jimi's Grange practice. So the JGP we're doing today, the Jimi Grange practice. So we'll get into that. I think that's all that we're doing. Oh, I'm having a bit of trouble with me scope too. Lately, every time I shoot, it jumps up 4 or 5 clicks, so I think the inner mechanism in me thing's worn out. I've messaged Sherlock about 3 times, but they haven't messaged me back yet, so I don't know what's going on there. So yeah, hopefully, if not, I'm gonna have to lock it down. There's a couple little screws here, and you can screw them up real tight and it'll lock it in place. So I might have to do that if it starts slipping. Put it on the setting and just lock it in until I get a new rest, till I get a new sight or something, see how that goes. Alright, so Greg's over there fiddling away with his bow and arrows, trying to get the arrows out. Slow as a wet week. Alright, so we'll get back when Greg comes over to say hello.
It's all over. Hello. I have to make a confession and an apology to all my fans. Oh, there's no pin on that one. Alright, I just did a 1440 on Saturday and got 1305. Admittedly, I forgot to shoot an arrow, so there was 10 points down the gurgler. Very professional of me. Then I went and did 2 short feeders, 900s, and couldn't break 70, couldn't break 870 either time. So I think I've forgotten how to shoot. I can't shoot anymore. I've collapsed into a heap. I'm very sorry. I don't know what to say, but James he's enjoying it. He's loving this. So I have to. I've come to him in humility and said, please help me. And he assures me that he can get me back. Not back. Back wasn't even good enough. We have to get further, and I've gone backwards. So I'm blaming my arrows at the moment, and anything else I can find. Everything else. But it's just not. You know what I mean? So we've got to do something, and James says he can help me. So we'll see if he can. So the last times I've shot the feeder, or this year that I've shot the feeder. The first one I think was in June, and I got 1330, then I got 1320 a month later, then a couple of months later I got 1315, and the last one I did on the weekend was 1305. So I've just gone down. So that says it all. So I rang up James last night crying, and I said, what am I going to do? And he says, I knew this was coming for a long time. Why didn't he intervene earlier? Why have I got to go to him to tell him I'm no good? This is unbelievable.
So many times, and you just blushed it off.
What did you say?
I said you so many times.
What did you say?
I said you're starting to drop off, you're getting sloppy, just blowing it off every time.
No,
I say yes.
I never heard that. I never heard sloppy. brushing off. I never brushed. I didn't brush.
I think sometimes you have to see it yourself before you can understand what others are saying too. So,
He's a psychiatrist now. This is lovely. This is rich.
So, yep. Now that Greg's on the ball, we can fix it easy.
Then, all right.
It's easy to fix.
All right. We'll see what happens. Okay.
And sometimes you have to bounce off the bottom. So sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you can bounce back up too. Right. There's a little bit of Jimi philosophy for you.
All right then.
So now we're getting into this crazy shoot. What we're doing, Greg, is a Grange, which is 90 arrows at 60 meters. Right. Ooh. But what the difference is going to be, first 30 arrows, we're going to shoot with our 70 meter setting. The second lot of arrows, the second 30 arrows, we're going to shoot with our 50 meter setting. Then the third lot of arrows, we're going to shoot with our 60 meter setting.
That's weird.
It is very weird. But just call me Mr. Miyagi. It all makes sense in the end.
All right then.
Cool.
Yep. Now I was going to say something then. Yeah. Do you remember the time that I was out here and I discovered the bubble, and I was shooting 59s and 60s just every single time?
It.
What happened to that? Well, anyway, okay. So, all right, we'll go back. All right, this is what we're going to do then. We're going to do 70 setting, then 50 setting, then 60 setting. Goodness knows why. I'm sure you'll find out. Let's go.
One, two, three. Okay, first and at 60 meters with a 70 meter setting. Okay, so after the first end, Greg's killing it with a 57. Wow, and I have got 10, 9, 9, 9, 8, 7. But I'm aiming about here. Where are you aiming, Greg? Right there, that's his spot. So we'll get in the next one and fill you in what's happening. Okay, so after the second end, I have a 58 and Greg has a 55. So it's still going alright. Let's get into the next one, see what happens. Okay, after the third end, I have 58. And Greg has a 59. Nice. Okay, let's get into the fourth one. Okay, so after the fourth end, I have a 56, and Greg has a 57. So we're still shooting all right. Let's get into the fifth one. Okay, so after the fifth one, I have a dirty weasel for a 58, and Greg has a weasel for a 57. So hanging in there, let's get into the last round and see what our final scores will be. Alrighty, so I just realised the Grange only has 5 ends, not 6. So we're done at 70 metre setting, and I ended up with a 282, so I dropped 18, which isn't too bad, seeing we weren't aiming at the target, I guess. The average is around 87, I think. Drop around 14 normally.
285. What'd you get?
282. So Greg got 285, I got 282. What was your scores yesterday? The F.A.C.T meter.
Oh, they were six ends.
No, that's because we're doing it. It's the same. It's only 5.
No, there's 6 ends in a thing, isn't there?
Only 5 at for a short course.
Oh, was it okay? Around the 80s, low 80s, 282s.
I'll have a look because you messaged me.
Oh yeah. That was it there, wasn't it?
284. So you beat your score yesterday by 1.
I'm not aiming at the target.
And you weren't aiming at the target, see?
But the second one I don't think I did as well. Did I give you the second one or just the total?
No, just the total of the second one. So now we'll get into 60 metres with a 50 metre setting and see what happens.
Right, so I'm on the 50.
Yeah, on the 50. Okay, so first end at 60 metres on a 50 metre sight setting. Let's see how we go with this one. Okay, first end at 50 metre setting, and I have 4 8s and 2 10s, and Greg has 2 7s, 3 10s and a 9. So I don't know what they work out at. 52 for me,
53
and 53 for Greg. So let's get in the next one and see what happens. Okay, second end of 50 metre settings, and I have 999, 887. And Greg has 9999, 88. Or 52. God knows what mine is. Okay, after the third one, I've pulled together this group somehow. 4 X's and 2 9s for a 58, and Greg's got a 55. Okay, so after the fourth end, I have a 57.
54.
And Greg has a 54. Let me tell you, it's not easy shooting. I cannot see the target at all. That's what I see in my scope. That. So I have no idea where I'm above the X or not, which is a bit tricky. Alright, let's get into the last one and see how we go. This is a tough one, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, last end with the 50 metre sight setting, and I have a weasel for a 53 and Greg has a 54. So we'll work out the totals and get back to you. Okay, so our totals were, I ended up with 270 after a 50 metre sight setting, and Greg ended up with
272.
272, so that puts Greg 7 points in the lead.
Am I?
Pretty sure. Coming into the last one, because you're 5 points up on me on the last one. So now we're shooting 60 metres with a 60 metre sight setting, so let's see if we can make an improvement.
This is it.
This is the one.
Hello. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. This is my first shot here, and then my second shot was here. So I wound the scope up, well, technically down. I went the right way, and it went there. So I wound it again, and it went there. I wound it again, it stayed the same spot. Wound it again, and it's up there. And yesterday, I felt that some of them were dropping into 8 that were good shots. So I'm not sure what's going on.
What was the problem last time when we fixed it?
Yeah, what was that I thought it was moving? Oh, the blade was breaking. Remember, and then the blade snapped off.
Ah, yep. And
that was one time, then the blade got loose.
And you're getting rotation of your...
Oh, and the scope was moving too, but I glued that in.
Oh, so that's glued in. So I ended up with a 58, and Greg ended up with a 54. Would that be an 8? No.
I think that's an 8.
Oh yeah. 55. 55 for Greg, 58 for me.
But a big question mark over mine.
Big question mark over
Big question mark.
If you're at home and you remember what we did last time to fix Greg's problem, let us know.
I think the first one was a slipping scope. And the second one was the blade rest was slowly cracking, and it eventually snapped off on a shot. So they were the two reasons I was dropping all the time, but I don't think that's very weird.
It's very straight up and down. Your windage is good anyway.
Well, they were all good shots.
Alright, we'll get into the second one, see what happens.
Alright, have a guess what? I said the last 2 times this happened, and it just happened then. I just shot 3 arrows, had to get lower and lower and lower. And I said it was the scope slipping the first time, and then it was a blade rest. What do you reckon happened? The blade has snapped off. So that's... Do you wonder how long a blade lasts?
I think we should start religiously changing them once a month, maybe.
You know, I mean, that's...
It was only a couple of months you've had that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2 months, maybe?
It's very thin, though. Maybe that's why you want a thicker one.
Well, no, it's the weight of the arrow.
And what about this distance here?
Yeah, that's all adjustable with your new one.
Do you know much about that width there?
Yep, they're all changeable with your new beiter rest. Come with all different widths for your different arrows.
Well, that's it then.
You don't have a spare one?
I'll go and have a look.
Alright, I'll finish this end and see what happens. Okay, so after the second end, Greg snapped his blade and I got a 56. I do not know what happened with this one. Absolutely crazy. It was weird because I don't know what happened. I seen it, I thought I was right on, everything felt good, but I got a really big scrape from the string on my face. So maybe that had something to do with it. I was anchored weird or something. Weird. Strange. Anyway, we'll get into the third one. Greg might have a blade. I think he's got a backup by the looks of things. So get his arrows and... No, I'll leave his arrows and we can shoot another 2 and score them. Okay. Okay, third end, I have a 58 and Greg is re-getting his sight settings back in after a new blade.
So I put the new blade. We've got to ask questions about blades now, because when I look back at the last couple of months, I do remember having to change my settings slowly, and then in the last 2 weeks a little bit more than normal. And today it was just dropping, and then it snapped. So when I put the new blade on, I shot the same blade, I shot here, but a new blade, I shot there. Then I shot there, then I shot down here. Then I was out a bit, so then I moved it out back here to the right. So it's completely off the target, the point of impact that I was on with that other blade. So here's my theory. You put a new blade on. Surely over months and months and months it's going to bend. It's only metal, and it keeps going like that. It's going to bend. Eventually it's going to bend and bend and bend and bend. And you will slowly be changing your sight settings over the months to allow for this drop in the rest, which is also going to put your center shot out, isn't it? Or your paper tuning, because the rest is getting lower. So, you know, there's another point. So your actual bow setup is going out. And then what happens, it gets to the point where it's bent and bent and bent, then a crack will start to form. Minuscule, minute crack will start to form, and then you'll notice, oh, you know, I've got to go up 5, I've got to go 5 clicks. And then it'll go again, and then faster and faster and faster and faster until it snaps and that crack opens up. And that's the life and history of a blade. Which means, I think you should be maybe replacing your blades every couple of months. What do you think? Get back to us and let us know. Have you got to change? Oh, hey, I'm not finished yet. Have you got to change your blades all the time? Because I've had 2 snap now in what, the last 3 months? 3 months ago I had 1 snap.
Alright guys, so after the 5th and final end, I have 57, 56. Greg is still getting his sights set in. The battery's about to run down, I'll get you the totals. Okay, so that's my total.